10 from the 11. Travis under pressure, trying to escape, able to escape. Turns the corner, stays in back. Gets to the edge, Johnny Michelle will send the Dogs home to the 30, 35. No! Whitfield to the 50, to the 40, Whitfield to the 30. There's another first down.
Not dealing with much pressure at all when he does drop back to throw.
Play action, Bennett looks down the middle, McCoskey's wide open, touchdown Dogs.
What is going on, guys, and welcome to another episode of the Noles and Dogs podcast. I am Hunter.
I'm Dylan.
About time. Come on. I'm just
Sorry, it was off a second. I was reacting to everything.
I know you were.
Just blow me away every time.
Anyway, we are here for episode 30. They should maybe add like a banner or something up top here, commemorating each episode. We'll figure that out down the line. Oh yeah, 30 episodes in, guys. But we are here for a week 1 recap. A little later than everyone else's podcast, but we like to wait till all of the official games are all done. We waited till after the slaughtering happened in Durham last night. We'll get to that later. But
Waited for the top 25 to come out too. That was important. We wanted to let that come in.
And we are coming to you late. As of recording right now, it is 12:09 a.m. It is Wednesday, September 6th, I believe. So we are getting this out. Figured we let you guys know the ideal schedule going forward is going to be Tuesdays is going to be like our recap days. And then the Thursday, Friday-ish is going to be our recordings for the previews for this week. Ideally, it's going to be Thursdays. So like this week's a week 1 recap. Thursday will be week 2 preview. Going forward, be like that. So it's going to be like that ideally going forward for the whole year. And if something happens, we'll just have to update it or send it out a little later or sooner than we like. So ideal rundown for the day. We're going to go over some notable games. Colorado, TCU, UF, Utah. What happened down in Orlando with LSU, FSU, excuse me. And then North Carolina, South Carolina, who won the Battle of the Carolinas. We're going to go through a couple score rundowns, some other games that all the other teams have played, some of the lesser competition, but, we'll touch up on it. We're going to cool little segment we're going to start introducing with this year, or at least this week, called Overreaction or No. I got 5 questions Dylan does not know about, and we're going to just debate it. Biggest games, upsets, most exciting, weeks 10 through 13. We didn't get to it last episode, so we're going to get to it this week. And winners and losers of the week. We're going to have 2 teams or players or anything like that for 2 winners, 2 losers, and that's will be it. So, as of before, though, make sure you guys are watching the video, subscribing, doing whatever you guys want to do. And remember, we are also on Spotify, so hit us up there.
Also, in the comments, give us who you thought was most impressive this week.
There we go.
We'd love to see more engagement in the comments. Just type down below what team were you most surprised by.
And hit me up. Or I believe, let's see. I post clips all the time, guys, on our the TikTok page. It's going to be at H. I should just make a little thing here. Dylan, you're going to have to add this in here. We're going to add this in, guys, live on camera. It's a bad name, but listen, everyone else took the other names I wanted, so I'm just kidding. We're going to add this right now. TikTok, if you guys want to see clips and a link to our podcast, you're going to have to copy the link in the bio. But this is my TikTok, so if you guys want to watch clips from the podcast, we have it right here. Love to debate. I love debating.
Yeah.
Because it's just my opinion.
Yeah.
I posted my playoff predictions the other day on there, and somebody went like, Oregon's not a real team because of my playoff prediction. I have Georgia, FSU, Penn State, Oregon. No, it's not a real team. I said that's why they're predictions. That's just there to debate. That's my opinion. And guess what? He liked it. You know why? Thank you.
That's funny. So Oregon's not a real team. Get out of here.
Listen, here we go. I'll give you the comment. He goes, Georgia's the only one on the list going anywhere. And I said, fair to say, but that's why they're predictions. And he liked it. So I mean, there you go.
That's funny. I like that guy.
There you go. So, all right. Dylan, any thoughts going in this weekend? Congrats on the big win.
Oh, thank you. You know, I stayed up to watch that game. It was hard to see a lot of the games during the week because I was at work for a lot of Saturday. So being able to see the entire game against LSU, sit back, relax in my living room.
There you go.
You know, first half was kind of stressful, but you know, things changed.
Yes. You know, it was a little bit of a letdown week 1, I'd say. There wasn't really any big games. I mean, aside from Colorado TCU, which, I mean, it was a 20.5 point spread, which was TCU. So, I mean, other than that, I mean, FSU LSU was the only ranked matchup.
Mm-hmm.
Just not good enough, I think. UF Utah, I mean, can't blame Utah for taking care of business. A lot of like intriguing matchups, it seemed, but they just weren't ranked matchups. Like, you know, I think bigger teams and you say this, but like, you know, Bama, Texas play this week.
Yeah.
You know, Tulane, Ole Miss is just going to be a very intriguing game play this week. There's a lot of good week 2 matchups, week 3, but you know, week 1, you're not with the NFL that week. It's like your weekend. Bring it all out. You know, you have the entire weekend. You know,
it's just funny to me because, you know, college football takes up that entire extended weekend too, because there's games from Thursday to Monday.
And you know, you can schedule the games. It's not the school's fault that schedule the games. If it ends up being they take Oregon, Georgia last year. You know, on paper, I mean, Georgia was going to be favored. I think they were like a 15.5 point favorites going in. But, you know, it's a cool matchup, ranked on ranked. I mean, you can't help that they can't decide that Georgia won 49-3. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, exactly. FSU,
LSU, we'll get to it in a little bit. But, like, you know, nobody would have thought LSU was going to get outscored 31-7 in the second half. So,
or you know, UNC versus South Carolina, you know.
That looked like I was like, I tweeted, I said, buckle up, folks, get ready for this. And then all of a sudden, South Carolina decided not to score again. So, all right, we're going to hop right into this. Won't waste any more time. But we're going to start with the story of the weekend, the Colorado Buffalo, the battle in Buffalo out of Boulder.
Yep.
Who had won one game last year, one whole game. That had been in the epitome of rock bottom for 5+ years now, and really haven't been relevant since early 2000s.
Yeah.
Prime comes in, over 50 new players, over 80 people come out of the portal, 50 new players on the roster, and they go into the TCU, who were the reigning national runner-ups, and beat them on their home field. Prime came and conquered. Yep. Dylan, thoughts on this?
I think the first thing to get out of the way is that Shedeur Sanders is definitely going to be a Heisman candidate. Shedeur, I'm sorry. My fault. He's going to be a Heisman candidate this year. Even after this game, I do think they might have some tougher games coming up, you know.
Yeah.
They're going to play USC. They're going to play
I'll pull their schedule up.
I believe they play Utah. They have played Nebraska this week.
They have a tough game. They got a tough schedule. They got Nebraska, who I think they take care of business with.
I do too.
They're 3-point favorites this week. I think they take care of business. They got Colorado State at Oregon, at home against USC, Arizona State, Stanford, UCLA, Oregon State, Arizona, and then they finish the year at Utah. Good finish though.
Like I think we've raised it because I don't know how you felt, but going into this season, I said this on an earlier episode that they are the most confusing team to speak about.
Yeah,
because we didn't know what they were at all.
I mean, we were previewing this game and we were just like, we expect TCU to win this. And granted, they left points on the table. The 2 red zone picks isn't going to do it for you, but
yeah,
I mean, we thought Colorado was going to cover. That was a big number, and we didn't like TCU, but we liked TCU enough to take care of business. But because no idea Colorado, I mean, it's one thing to bring in all these new players. It's another thing for them to go out first game and like do what they did. Now, granted, there's still, you know,
I do you do have to, it's obviously first game of the season. That's the game to overreact. That everybody overreacts to everything this week, right?
Yeah.
But I do think you have to start out with the fact that this is not the same TCU team from last year. Very obviously not. They don't have
Missing
their Heisman candidate quarterback. They have how many starters are even left from last year?
I know they have some guys from defense and a couple guys maybe on offense. They did bring in a couple transfers from Alabama, like JoJo Earl and Trey Sanders, Trey Sanders had a huge game, 3 touchdowns. But Chandler Morris started last year. He was the starter going into the year, and then he got hurt at Colorado, and then that's when Duggan came in. Like, Duggan wasn't even the starter. But, TCU, not taking away, discrediting the win from Colorado. I mean, TCU is going to be – I think they'll be an 8-4 team.
Yeah.
Depending on, I don't know what their schedule is. I'm not looking at it right now, but I 7-5, 8-4. I made a little page here, just some stats. So Shedeur Sanders, 510 yards. Is this his first, playing in the,
it's his first start
Big South or whatever.
FBS level.
Yeah. At 38 of 47, 4 touchdowns, 510 yards. It's a Colorado record for a player making their debut.
Mm-hmm.
Dylan Edwards, who's a true freshman, not even in transfer. He's a true freshman there. Colorado only ran the ball 55 yards on 34 attempts, so not very good. It's only 1.6 yards per carry. Dylan Edwards was 6 carries, 24 yards, and a touchdown. Savion Wilkerson actually led the way, 13 carries, 45 yards, and a touchdown. But Dylan Edwards, 5 receptions, 135 yards, 3 touchdowns. Colorado had 4 guys over 100 yards receiving.
Yeah.
Never happened before in Colorado history. Travis Hunter, who I think has a better shot to win the Heisman than Shedeur Sanders does, played over 125 snaps.
Mm-hmm.
He had 11 receptions for 119 yards. Missed one that would have been a touchdown. It was in his hands, and then it fell right out. He had a crucial pick in the red zone, which is, did you see that pick?
I did see that pick. Yeah, I saw the highlight.
You can't even blame Chandler Morris for that throw. I mean, that was a good throw. Like, you're going to make that throw 10 times out of 10. It's just, I don't know how he got to that ball.
Mm-hmm.
And then Hunter, like, after the game, said, like, I'm fine. I can play more.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I would still give, is it Shedeur or is it? Shedeur. Yeah. I'd still give him the nod in Heisman just because quarterback
but you're playing.
It's gonna be a lot harder for Travis to replicate those numbers every single week, especially on the defensive side.
Yeah.
So I do think you would give it to Sanders there, but I do there's a couple things. I think Deion has a legitimate shot at Coach of the Year. He's definitely gonna win Pac-12 Coach of the Year.
He could.
Their record from that, he's gonna double their win record this week.
Yeah, I mean, you have Nebraska and Colorado State one day. Their win total was
triple it.
Their win total was 3.5.
He's gonna get the over.
What was I gonna say? I mean, Travis Hunter. The only thing I'm concerned about Travis Hunter is played over 125 snaps week 1. Mm-hmm. What kind of longevity are we gonna see in week 6, 7, and 8? Like, how are we? And
they got a tough schedule.
They do.
That game against USC, is he going to play 125 snaps against?
At Oregon, at home against USC, at Utah. Like, I mean, it's going to be.
That's brutal.
But if he consistently plays both sides, even if he's not putting up over 100 yards, I mean, he has a chance. I mean, he's going to be their leading receiver. He's their best secondary guy.
Yep.
Not to mention, I didn't even write it down, but I looked at it. Shiloh Sanders, who's Deion's other son, who plays defensive back, led the team in tackles Saturday.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I took little keynotes. It's crazy. So, team stats. Colorado only rushed for 55 yards. TCU ran for 262 yards. But 2 big time turnovers by Chandler Morris killed him. Keynotes, Travis Hunter over 100 snaps. I think Colorado can contend with the Pac-12, at least make it interesting. Because now, if you're one of the top guys, I mean, there's not really a top guy in the Pac-12 because it's so jumbled up.
Yeah.
Remember how we talked about like it's cannibalistic? Just add to the list right here.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee you, Colorado upsets one of these teams, or just stirs the pot, just stir in the pot. And concern Colorado's defense, lack of depth, especially on the front line or on the O line or on that D line, just lack of depth and you're going to see that just brings it. Wait till next year we get to another recruiting class hit, but you don't want to be in these shootouts. That's my only concern. You know what I mean? Like how?
Because I just it's early to say, but I don't think they'd win a shootout against Oregon or USC.
Not at Oregon, maybe at home against USC because USC's defense is so awful.
Yeah, but I just don't see them being able to, because USC is just they know how to put guys in positions to score every single time.
They do. I mean, hopefully by the time you get there, what if Colorado is, let's say they're 3-0 heading into Oregon, which would be College game day.
Yeah.
Say they lose that. They're 3-1 coming back home against USC, who's going to be undefeated probably.
Yeah.
I don't know who USC plays. Let's see.
I got you right now.
I got it. I mean, USC is going to be undefeated going into that game. They got Sanford and Arizona State before that, which is a joke. But USC's back half of their schedule is brutal. Look at this. USC's Notre Dame, at home against Utah, at Cal, at home against Washington, at Oregon, and then at home against UCLA.
They got a good schedule.
Not friendly.
Yeah,
but
they got a good schedule though.
Yeah.
If you win out there, you're going.
But you still got to win the Pac-12 title game.
Yeah, no, yeah, but they'll have a good resume if they win out.
That could set up one of the most highly watched shows. I mean, can you imagine like Dion's coming in with a 3-1 team against Caleb Williams and Riley in USC? I mean, that'd be huge.
Yeah.
Huge. So I guess maybe final topic or final thoughts on this, like, is this Colorado team built to contend? Do you think, how far away you think is this Colorado team from really contending? Just for looking off like week one, and we make assumptions. Like, how far away you think?
Just off week one, I'd say like a year away.
Okay.
Because like they have the talent to compete. It's going to take a minute.
Yeah.
Especially with the Pac-12 just looks amazing this year.
Yeah.
And they'll be moving over to the Big 12, which quite frankly doesn't look as good.
It's another cannibalistic conference.
Yeah, it's another cannibalistic conference, but it's not as top heavy.
No.
You're not, you know what I mean? They don't
But that's the issue there.
Yeah.
Is that there's not a clear-cut favorite in that league either.
I do think if they stay as good as they are now, next year they will be the favorite. The clear-cut favorite of the Big 12, because I do think
Utah will still be around.
Sanders,
Utah's always going to be consistent.
They'll be good, but if Sanders can keep up like the talent that he's building at Colorado, then I think they might be able to just out-talent them on both sides of the ball.
I tell you what, this is going to hurt guys like what Sanders is doing. Say Sanders goes out and wins 6 games.
Yeah.
Goes bowl. Even if he wins or loses.
Mm-hmm.
Other teams like, we'll say like, trying to think, like Florida or any new hires we have, or like recently. Florida, we'll say
Arizona State.
Well, Kenny Dillingham just got there. Like Texas, if Texas underperforms again this year, Brett Venables at Oklahoma, like you almost like, why is he did it? He's having success in year one.
Yeah.
Where's we had given you guys all the resources? Where's our results? Yeah, where's the results at? He could start putting some pressure on it, and I don't think a lot of people are talking about like that part. Like, he could really make some pressure on some of these other like teams that are coaches that are struggling a little bit out of the gate.
Yeah.
Which I think should lead us right into
That's what I was about to say. Do we want to move on to this?
Yes, let's move on. So we'll move on. PG-13 for all of you. TVMA, I should say.
Yeah.
Because there was a slaughtering happened last Thursday night in Salt Lake City. The Utah Utes, led by junior backup quarterback Bryson Barnes,
Yep.
took care of the Florida Gators 24-11, but it didn't feel that close. Florida had a late.
The only reason the score is close is because Florida scored a mercy touchdown in the fourth quarter.
Great catch, though.
I mean, it was a great catch.
Great catch by Caleb.
It was a good drive too. But
Caleb Douglas had a great catch. But yeah, it was all Utah. It was a mix of first play of the game for Utah, 70-yard touchdown to Money Parks. Mm-hmm. A bad mix of miscues and mistakes by Florida, and just what the heck are we doing? Play calling, and just Utah being the more physical team. Rushed for over 105 yards. Florida only rushed for 13 yards. Not good.
Yeah, no, I mean, that wasn't even something me and you even thought would happen. We thought that Florida would run, that the offense would run through the running game, right?
Yes.
And, shocking to, I think, both of us, Graham Mertz didn't look too bad. He did have an interception, but other than that, he threw for, 330 yards, a touchdown. He did throw the ball 44 times.
Yeah, 31 of 44, 333 yards, threw a touchdown. He got sacked 5 times, which translates to the poor rushing numbers because it gets subtracted.
But even their lead rusher had 25 yards on 7 carries.
ETN and Montreal Johnson combined for 10 rushes for 31 yards. So
they couldn't run the ball in Utah at all.
Can't happen. O-line is still young, so it's still going to be some growing pains there. But that's the issue with this Florida team. It's a young team, but there's just no guys that are willing to step up, it looked like. Ricky Pearsall, their veteran receiver, believe it or not, because Xavier Henderson's gone. Mm-hmm. Justin Shorter left for the draft last year.
Yep.
8 receptions, 92 yards. Really was quiet, though. He had a couple catches in the second half. Caleb Douglas, they said 4 receptions. He had 42 yards in the touchdown. But, I mean, the penalties were big. Nine penalties for Florida, 46 yards. Mm-hmm. And not to mention the miscues. I mean, I have them written down in order what happened. So, miscues. Florida's driving in Utah, deep in Utah territory. Mm-hmm. It's 4th and 1. We're going to go for it. And a false start.
Yep.
Leads to a missed field goal, which then leads to Utah gets the ball back, drives down the field a little bit, doesn't do anything, punts. Flag comes out, equipment violation. You got 2 guys on the field with number 3 jerseys on.
Brutal. That's absolutely brutal.
Can't have that. I mean, I don't know how.
That's coaching.
How do you not, as a player, not have the awareness to be like, the return man is the same number as you. You think you got to have someone figured out. I mean, that led to...
The funniest thing is I was on Twitter while this was happening. I remember somebody saying, who's Florida's special teams coordinator? Oh, wait, they don't have one.
Right?
They do not. They have the largest staff in college football, but they don't have an offensive coordinator or a special teams coordinator.
Well, maybe they should do that. That led to a Utah touchdown.
Yep.
So, because it pretty much gifted them as like a turnover.
Mm-hmm.
And it gave them the ball right back. Because it was like 4th and 3. And they punted it, and it was a 5-yard penalty.
Free first down.
And I just wrote like little keys. UF, undisciplined, slow. Mertz needs to settle in more, but he's not getting the play calling's not there. It was like 4th and 13, and they threw a screen pass. I mean, that goes up against like South Carolina's 4th and 19 they had Saturday night when they needed a first down late in the game, and they threw like a 10-yard check down. Utah, business as usual. Defense looks good. They were down 8 starters and still won and took care of business. Down 8 starters, including their starting quarterback, Cam Rising, who did not play. He warmed up, did not play. Bryson Barnes, really efficient, all he needed to do. 12 of 18, 159 yards, 1 touchdown. Nate Johnson, who came in, he's more the running quarterback, 3 or 4, 6 yards, but 6 carries. He actually led them in rushing. It was 6 carries, 45 yards and a touchdown. And then Money Parks he had the one reception for 70 yards. That's like the fantasy guy gives you like a 10 point performance for the week, but it's like one catch for a touchdown.
Yeah.
If Utah can get Rising back healthy, they're right back where they are usually. I think they're business as usual.
They're in that 8 to 15 range as a program.
Yeah,
which is where they live and die by.
Right.
So I think the bigger, because the worst part about this to me is if you're a Florida fan and you guys just lost to the backup quarterback. Like, you guys beat this team last year.
Wait, what was that? Sorry.
I said if you're a Florida fan, where do you go from here?
You don't go anywhere.
You lost to the backup quarterback.
So I go to class today.
Dominated.
So I go to class today. If you guys don't know, I'm in college. We're in college. I go to Santa Fe here at Santa Fe College here in Gainesville. Teacher goes, "You guys watch the Florida game, shout out." He actually shouted out and posted our podcast on the screen. So,
let's go.
Podcast on the screen. Shout out there. He goes, "Yeah, he's like, yeah, how many guys, you guys, hopefully all you guys are going to the game this weekend, because they're at home." He's like, "Listen, guys, it's okay. We can still suck and have fun." Like, that can't be the mindset, guys. No, that's just when you've hit rock bottom. Welcome to Yukon and Colorado territory. Or like
Colorado's not even in that territory anymore.
This is Yukon, Virginia, and Virginia Tech territory. You have sucked. You are bad.
Yeah.
And he found out our podcast name, and he's like, "You guys just always want Florida to lose." I said, "Well," put me on the spot here. I said, "Well, I would prefer them to be good because then it makes our strength of schedule look better."
Yeah.
So he kind of chuckled, but I don't know. I mean, it's a whole mess. They're young, undisciplined. Kirk Herbstreit pointed it out, and I totally saw it. I mean, linebackers look slow. Yep. Defense looks slow. There's no speed or anywhere around. They're just getting lack of depth. I don't know. I don't know where you go from here. The offense, the play calling's bad.
Yeah. That's the head coach. That's the head coach. I don't understand why they don't have an offensive coordinator.
Mertz didn't look that bad. I don't think Mertz played that bad. He did what he did. I do think he needs to settle in a little more. He missed a couple throws or some throws throughout the game that were like, you got to have those ones.
Yeah. But you didn't bring this guy in to throw the ball 44 times in a game.
No, but then you fall behind so much that you have to.
Yeah.
And Florida is going to be built. They have got to be centered around running the football. They have 2 solid backs. Like, Trevor Etienne's a solid back. Maltrell Johnson's good. Like, these guys are good.
Yeah.
They have got to be able to establish the run game to feed off of Graham Mertz. I mean, I liked how they had Mertz rolling out more. They had him more as a kind of rolling him out to his strong side and then getting the ball, checking it down, whether getting some slants or little 10, 15-yard crossers. I mean, that's what they're going to be this year. But they can't fall behind. Otherwise, you completely destroy all of what you were trying to strive for.
So I'm just going to pull up their schedule and see, for some reason, ESPN is the worst. I swear. They take forever to load up on stuff. But, this year they're going to have a couple easy ones. They got McNeese.
Are they easy? I mean, do they even win?
I do think they beat FCS McNeese at home.
Don't disrespect McNeese out of Louisiana. Come on, Dylan. You know this.
But, they're going to get Tennessee at home. I think they lose that
I'll be at the game. Boots on the ground. I can't wait to watch Joe Milton warm up. I've heard he throws the ball from the end zone to the other end zone, crow hopping it. I can't wait to watch that.
They have to go to Kentucky.
Well, they got Charlotte. Don't forget about the 49ers now.
Oh, yep. Sorry about that. But they get Charlotte at home.
They'll go to Kentucky and lose. Let's go through this. McNeese.
I think they beat McNeese.
Tennessee.
They're losing.
I said this on Twitter. Check my Twitter at Hunter DeLauder.
Mhm.
I said hot take. If they can limit the mistakes, this is the big thing. The miscues are killed him.
Yeah.
Completely killed. This game would have been closer if they wouldn't have committed a bunch of mistakes.
Mhm.
If they limit the mistakes, and I watched that Tennessee game, I think they might be able to beat Tennessee.
I just don't think so. I mean,
If
I
it'll
just
be
don't think Florida
Milton's,
has the talent in like on
and
their
that might be
defense
so.
to
And I think
stop.
if anything, it could be just a close game.
Mhm.
Joe Milton's first true road game
Yep.
as a Tennessee starter. Offense didn't look as flashy as I wanted it to be. Defense, granted, I mean, they looked okay, but you're playing Virginia's offense. You're playing Virginia. I mean, you're not going to expect wonders here.
No.
I'm telling you, if Swamp at night is a different animal.
It is a 7
was
p.m. kickoff.
I was
on
there last
ESPN.
year against the LSU game. It was close until, LSU decided to be the better team, in which I
Yeah.
think this is how this game is going to go. I think this is a game throughout the second half, but then Tennessee pulls away.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
think that's fair.
let's remember last year. I mean, this was at Neyland, and it was a 5-point game.
Yeah.
So,
But to be fair, I do think Anthony Richardson had the game of his life in Neyland last year.
he did.
He
That
looked
is true.
like he was like that was when people were talking about Heisman quality quarterback. A year later, I don't think Graham Mertz is a bad quarterback. I actually think he looked pretty good against Utah, but I just don't think I just don't see it.
I don't see it. So we go Tennessee. We'll
Mhm.
say loss, but
Yeah.
close. I think they can beat them.
I think it looks like an improving, like
I'm
it's
gonna
not a
say
loss you're upset with.
I'm gonna say they win.
Yeah, okay, you can go that way. That's
I'm gonna
fine.
say they
I
win.
get you.
Charlotte win. Kentucky
Yep.
loss. Vanderbilt. Did we give them Vanderbilt?
The funny thing is Vanderbilt. I'm like, if you look at their schedule, they're already 2-0, right?
Don't
Which
be going
is
through Vanderbilt's schedule thinking they're gonna do stuff. Don't
no.
do it.
they
Don't do it. Don't you do it. Don't fall for the trap.
they could go into this game with like 2 losses. Like they
Who
could.
do they play?
They play Wake Forest next.
They're gonna lose. Wake Forest.
Then
They're
they
at
play
Wake.
UNLV.
They're gonna win. It's at UNLV though.
Yeah, I still think they win.
They win that. Their over under is not high. I think it's like 4.5. 4.
No, but I do think it's not that crazy. Vanderbilt could win that game.
That's the
They won
homecoming
last
game.
year. Yeah, they won last year.
All right, at South Carolina loss. Georgia
Yeah,
loss.
loss.
Arkansas. Did we give them Arkansas? No, Arkansas.
I don't think so.
beats them.
Arkansas will be better.
Arkansas. Sam, did you see Sam Pittman's picture he had this weekend?
Oh yeah, I did see that.
Just boobs just flopping out.
And that man's gonna win a football game against the Gators.
He's going to open up a cold beer and drink. Watch. He go pig suey. Anyway, LSU
Then
lost.
They go to LSU. They lose. They go to Missouri.
Loss. Florida
Yep.
State. Depending on what time the game is. Let's see what time the game is.
Yeah, I think we'll have to see what time the game is. But if I'm going to make a prediction right now,
my
Florida
only
State
concern is if Florida
looks a lot
State is
better.
clinched an ACC title berth already, they better not be sleepwalking into the swamp.
I don't think they would sleepwalk into the swamp just because if they're going to the ACC championship, then they probably have national championship aspirations.
True, but I'm telling you, each team has each year sleepwalking. All right, but yeah, there's Florida. So Florida's going to be awesome this year, guys. Come on, come on, let's keep the heads up. All right,
yeah.
Utah's going to be fine, and we're going to be moving on. So
yep.
We'll just go in the day order. So UNC South Carolina Battle of the Carolinas. Game day was there. It was in Charlotte. UNC North Carolina took care of business. It was close first half, a little bit in the second, but North Tar Heels take care of business, 31-17 to win. They pulled away late.
Next with third quarter, 14-0 third quarter, pulled that one.
Drake May, 24-32, 269, 2 touchdowns, did throw 2 picks. Didn't really ask him to do a whole lot. They threw for what was this? They threw for 437 yards. How did they throw for 400? Oh, no, 437 yards, total yards. Okay.
Yeah, because they had a great rushing game.
British Brooks had, shout out, what a name. British Brooks.
That is a good name.
15 carries, 130 yards, 103 yards, 2 touchdowns. Or is that Omari and Hampton had that?
He had 15 carries, 103 yards. No, that was Brooks.
Did Hampton have the 2 touchdowns then?
1 sec. Let me pull up that box score.
I didn't write that. I wrote just 2 touchdowns next to Hampton. I think that's what it was. But I think the big question was going into this game was that I thought the reason why I was high on South Carolina was how bad North Carolina's defense was last year.
Yeah.
And North Carolina's defense, 9 sacks, only gave up 17 points. South Carolina had a total of -2 rushing yards.
Yeah. And it was Hampton with the 2 touchdowns, by the way.
Okay. I mean, they completely just owned the line of scrimmage, gave Spencer Rattler nothing to do. Rattler, I mean, not bad. I mean, I don't know how much stat padding, but even stat padding, he was having a tough time throwing the ball late in the fourth quarter. 30-39, 353, no touchdowns, but no picks. Xavier Legette had 9 receptions, 178 yards.
Mm-hmm. I wonder what South Carolina's going to do without Rattler going forward, though, after this year.
I mean, has Rattler done anything with them anyway?
I mean, you take him out of this game, though, and what?
I mean, you put any quarterback back there. The O-line was so bad, and it's not good. And they don't have much time to figure it out because they have I think Charleston this week, and then they go to Georgia next week.
They're gonna get.
And
actually, you never know.
I know you didn't watch Georgia play.
I watched the first quarter.
You watched Georgia play?
Only because it was on the TV. It was in the back room.
There's ESPN Plus in the back room?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
ESPN News.
Whoa. Big time.
Direct TV, baby.
Heads up. That's big time. So, I don't know if you noticed, but Georgia, Michael Williams, Smile Munden, Jordan Hall, Nazir Stackhouse, Warren Brinson, Tremel Waltower, Jamal Jarrett. These guys are going to destroy that O-line. Not to mention our backers, not Xavier. What's his name? Xavier Sorcy, I think. Oh, dang that, but I messed up his name. Pop Dumas Johnson. They were going to destroy. I'm going to look up this name because now it's going to eat me up. Here we go. I'm sorry. I apologize. Shout out Troy Bowles. Todd Bowles' son had 2 tackles this past weekend.
Yeah.
Anyway, South Carolina's offensive line's not good, and if it continues to play bad like this all year, they're not going to have many wins this year.
Nope.
Because you can't your quarterback get sacked 9 times. North Carolina's defense had 17 sacks all year last year. They had 9 this past weekend.
Not good.
Not good. Oh, Xavier, sorry. I apologize, Xavier. But I mean, North Carolina looks good. Nothing really much to say. I mean, did what they needed to. They got a sneaky tough one, I think, this week at App State. App State comes to North Carolina, but you never know when those teams mix up. It was like a 63-61 game last year.
Yeah.
But I mean, not really too much else. Go ahead.
The only other thing I would say about it is that it should be a yearly matchup.
It should. See, there's games that I wish were just yearly matchups. North Carolina, South Carolina.
That's one of them, yeah.
West Virginia, Penn State, West Virginia, Pitt, West Virginia, Virginia Tech. I mean, these are all Georgia, Florida plays all the time. But like Georgia, Clemson starts out. They start playing a lot starting up next year.
Yeah. I think Florida State, LSU is a fun one.
Florida State's LSU, so that's not a bad one because they're pretty close to each other.
Pretty close, both.
It's a great uniform game.
Yeah, I know, I agree.
That Florida game, that was a nice uniform game.
Yeah.
If Florida would have worn their blue jerseys, oh man, that would have been cool.
That would have been nice.
Are you ready to move on, though?
I am ready.
All right, sweet. So UNC looks good. South Carolina, got to figure out the offensive line.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, so we'll move on to – it was supposed to be the main event. It was for the first half. So the Florida State Seminoles, as you can read the title, take out the Tigers. FSU 45, LSU 24. A complete tale of two halves was my biggest thing came out of this.
Yeah.
Halftime, 17-14, LSU was up. And, it felt like Jordan Travis was missing some throws. Johnny Wilson had 2 drops. Keon Coleman had a drop. But Keon Coleman, man.
Keon Coleman had a drop, and then
Johnny Wilson had 2 easy drops.
Yeah, Johnny Wilson had 2 drops, and I believe Winston Wright had a drop also.
Okay, yeah. So, but Travis looked a little unsettled, and I'll tell you, Malachi Wingo for LSU, man. But as I thought, and I'll get to it in a second, and I have it written down on my keys. But overall, so first half, it's kind of like back and forth. LSU starts off the first drive of the game. They get all the way down to the 6 plays within the 5-yard line, can't score a touchdown.
Yep. And
then they go for it, complete dud on 4th down, get sacked, lost 10.
Yep.
And then, I'm trying to see what happened after that. You guys didn't score right after that, though. So no, you guys scored on your second drive, I think, because LSU scored, and then you guys responded, right?
No, so we scored right after we got the ball. We scored on a Keon Coleman 40-yard.
Okay, that's right.
Pass.
Yep.
Then they got all right, so this is where it got a little bit confusing because they got the ball, got stopped again. We got the ball, 3 and out. They got the ball, and then they scored at the 1-yard line.
There you go. Yep. Go through a couple stats here. FSU, 359 passing yards, 135 rushing, 494 total, 22 first downs. They were 9 of 14 on 3rd down. That was a big category.
Yeah.
If you were looking down at the stat department. Time of possession was big, 35 minutes, 24 seconds to LSU's 20. Where I have it written down? 24 minutes and 37 seconds. LSU 3 of 10 on 3rd down, 0 of 2 on 4th down, or 0 for 3, excuse me. Keon Coleman, what a debut.
Yeah.
I mean, potentially one of the best at TCD account. I guess you have to count like Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
Travis Hunter and Keon Coleman had the 2 best debuts as transfer debuts to the new teams.
Yeah.
I mean, you could throw Shedeur Sanders, I guess, in there too. But 9 receptions, 122 yards, 3 TDs. Johnny Wilson had 7 catches for 104. Jaheim Bell had a couple catches, 49 yards on a touchdown. He had that long, icebreaker.
Yep.
But, I mean, Jordan Travis settled in the second half. But I think that related back to, I was going to say, LSU, and this was a big issue, their lack of depth was what really hurt them, I think, in that second half.
Yeah.
Especially up front. I mean, they just weren't getting pressure.
And I think that's the biggest telling of a good coach because Florida State made some big adjustments at halftime. So, obviously, me and you both saw it in the first quarter, they were really getting to Travis.
Yeah.
They were getting into him, they made him uncomfortable, so Florida State put in a 2 tight end set, gave him more protection. All of a sudden, LSU couldn't stop him at all. They couldn't get any pressure on him. Every single time they had the ball, there was positive yardage.
And why was LSU putting Harold Perkins out in the passing? Not lining him up. That
they were trying to change his.
Why?
I don't know.
He was freshman. Wasn't he freshman of the year last year?
He was SEC freshman of the year. Yeah.
He was an animal. Put him where he's disruptive.
Yeah. Again, that goes back to coaching. Brian Kelly. I don't know what he was thinking.
What are you trying to put him out in the pass? I know he struggles in pass coverage, but why are you lining up an outside linebacker instead of up front?
Again, yeah, I don't know. It doesn't make any sense.
And they were down Mason White, who inexplicably was suspended for this week because he signed a couple autographs last year with some other guys, but got paid before the NIL stuff, which was
stupid, but
dumb.
yeah,
Jordan
kinda.
Travis. Jaden Daniels had 22, 37, 347, a touchdown, and a pick.
Mm-hmm.
He was their leading rusher, which is probably not a good thing. Excuse me. Probably not a good thing. Brian Thomas had 7 catches for 142 yards and a touchdown. Malik Neighbors was kind of quiet, 6 catches, 67 yards. FSU's defense, 4 sacks, 2 turnovers. LSU's 0 sacks and a turnover. I have written down FSU, too many stupid penalties, though.
Yeah.
What are you guys doing?
I 100% believe it was more of a first game jitters. There was just some unnecessary roughness calls that looked bad.
Too much amped up.
Yeah, but after that first quarter, there really wasn't any calls like that. The only other penalties I remember on FSU were there was a false start, or no, there was was it neutral zone infraction on FSU's defense, like the D line, he jumped or something, and I think there was like pass interference. I don't know, but after that first quarter, there wasn't any.
There was the ticky tack goal line one, which set LSU for another fresh set of downs. There was the 2 dumb ones out in the out of bounds, the late hits. Those are the ones I just kind of pop off.
The refs were a little bit weird in this one. I won't lie. There was the Harold Perkins when he grabbed. Was it? I don't remember who it was. I think it was Toafili. At like the 3-yard line, grabbed him like RKO style and pulled him over. I was like, man, that one, they'll call it that one, really? But I was like, yeah, who cares?
Yeah.
Right. So.
And then outscored 31-7 in the second half. It's not really going to get it done.
Exactly.
You can't give up 31 points in the second half and only score 7, and that came with like under 5 minutes left in the game.
Yeah.
So
it was like. It was after FSU had already put in their backups.
Yeah,
they scored on. They threw the ball on like a go route. You know what I mean? It wasn't a sustained drive. It was just first play, check it down.
Someone tweeted and said that LSU is going to win a bunch of games as soon as they realize that their star quarterback's sitting on the bench right now.
Yeah,
and that's Garrett Nussmeier, who. I think he's a sophomore this year, but he can light it up.
Mm-hmm.
I think Daniels is going to be fine. I just think just a bad night overall. I think it was
a bad night, and I think FSU proved that they're a legit team.
That's why I think FSU is going to be a national title game, and I'm not just saying it because it's our podcast,
part of the podcast,
but I mean, proof's in the pudding right there. I mean, that was an absolute. Norvell out-coached Brian Kelly. The players outplayed the LSU Tigers.
Yeah.
Just an overall. I mean, FSU might have the best receiving core in the country.
Yeah.
I mean, think about.
It's deep. It's a deep receiving core.
Because now, I mean, you're gonna force guys to either. It's just like double up on Coleman. Okay, well then you got Johnny Wilson who's hanging out.
Yeah.
And then you still have Jaheim Bell, who's like a Swiss Army knife in the backfield. Yep. You can use him. He scored. I think he was a jet sweep he had, and then there was the nice little like wheel route he caught a touchdown on.
Yep.
You have Winston, or is it Winston Wright?
Yeah, Winston Wright. He's the transfer from West Virginia who hasn't gotten much time because he was hurt, but he's good.
Yeah,
like he's legitimately he's got talent. They got freshman Hakeem Williams, who was a 5-star, who looked really good in camp.
I mean, they have all the utensils to put this masterpiece of a dish together, and they just got to stay consistent. I think that's been FSU's problem. Last year they won, they were hot 4-0, and then just lost 3 games out of nowhere in a row. Won 6 in a row after that. But now here we go again. So we'll see. They got, like, what do you guys have? Like, Grambling this week, I think.
Yeah, we
So,
got Grambling, and then it really sucks that Clemson had to lose because that
yeah.
really takes away from there. There was a decent chance we could have gotten game day, but now it doesn't look like
Well, you never know.
nobody cares about Clemson now.
You still have to. I mean, right? Still, I mean,
Yeah.
even with loss, Clemson's still, I think, Clemson's still the top dogs in the ACC right now.
So yeah, so we get we get Southern Miss.
They're like a king that's been knows his reign's over soon. They know, like, he's done something bad and he's gonna get caught, but he's still ruling until, like, but his days are numbered right now.
Clemson is like, what's his name? The current king of England right now.
Oh,
no idea what his name is.
Charles?
Charles. Yeah, Charles. He ain't looking so good.
He's gonna die soon.
Nice. But FSU,
Nice.
we got Southern Miss at home this week. Then we go to Boston College, and then we get Clemson.
I mean, it's there for the taking.
Yeah,
there for the taking. But I think they're legit. I will say that. I don't think LSU's still going to be that bad.
I still think LSU's a top 15 team in the country. I still think they're gonna win 10 games this year.
Yeah, I think they'll be fine. But it's just a rough night. You're gonna have those nights.
I think it's just gonna be funny because there's a really good chance LSU turns around, does exactly what they did last year, and everybody says the exact same thing they did last year. They're like, man, look at Brian Kelly. Right? Look at this great coach. A month after saying he should be fired after the Florida State game.
All right. We're going to move on now to just score rundown.
Yep.
Which is just, I have a list of, God, I don't even know how many. A bunch. Probably about, what is this? 12 to 14 games. Just give your score if you hear any update. If you want to say something, feel free to. Georgia, 48-7 over UT Martin.
Yep.
Offense, Georgia fans, relax. Mike Bobo, new coach. Don't fire Mike Bobo yet. I know.
I saw some overreactions.
Why were we running some couple halfback zones when we shouldn't have on second and long and third down? I understand. We still had over 400 yards worth of offense.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna be fine. And Martin Carson back, first start. Get it out of the way. Brock Bowers. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Just get him the ball. Feed him the ball.
That's a bad man.
Feed him the ball. Tennessee, Virginia, 49-13.
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee looked a little sloppy at first, but got it together.
Yeah.
Ohio State, Indiana, 23-3. Yikes. Marvin Harrison had 2 catches the entire game.
Yep.
Ohio State doesn't have a quarterback right now. They still don't know who the quarterback is. Both of them played, and both of them didn't really do anything. So that's going to be an issue. 23-3 against Indiana. They beat them by 42. They beat them by over 49, I think 45 points last year.
What's the narrative for Ohio State now that there's a decent chance they're number 3 in the conference? Because Penn State looked way better than they did.
Yeah, until they figure out that they have all the pieces around them.
It's
quarterback, but the car doesn't start without the engine. You know what I mean? And the engine's
quite frankly,
quarterback.
Right after Georgia, they probably have the second most talented roster in the sport.
It's up there.
Like when it comes to recruiting.
I mean, Bama's up there. Ohio State's up there. I mean, just
Texas A&M's up there.
Texas A&M. Hey, Connor Wegman.
He did look good.
They go to Miami this week. Let's see. Bobby Petrino's calling the plays. That's why 52 points.
I wonder how Jimbo's ego's doing with that.
Jimbo better be fine if they want to start winning football games.
I can just imagine him fuming after winning. Ugh.
Dude, if he goes down to Miami, him and Petrino are gonna be sipping margaritas. Shout out RIP Jimmy Buffett, by the way.
Yeah.
Washington 56-19. I thought it was gonna be a closer game, and it needed Michael Penix. Mm-hmm. Oh man, it's like a laser beam. It's like Michael Vick, vintage Vick out there. If you will pull up just whenever you get a chance in your free time, pull up Michael Penix's highlights from this game. He had 2 deep ball touchdowns that were laser beams.
Yeah.
Just absolute BBs. Penn State 38-15 over West Virginia. If you're a gambling man and you had West Virginia plus the points, you can tell James Franklin to burn in hell. Plus 20.5. Nittany Lions are up 31-15. Covering. West Virginia's covering. West Virginia doesn't have any timeouts left. 6 seconds left. And what does Penn State do? They have their backups in. They run a QB sneak and score a touchdown instead of taking a knee. And then they complete the cover. So shout out to anybody that lost money there. I don't think West Virginia plays bad, but now, I mean, if they lose to Duquesne, whew.
I don't think they'll lose to
Duquesne.
Duquesne.
You'll fire Brown on the spot.
Yeah.
Bama 56-7. Jalen Milroe had a decent game, but you can't. It's hard to judge. You can't really judge when you're playing Middle Tennessee State.
Middle Tennessee State did beat Miami last year.
It's because Miami sucked
in
last
Miami.
Year. Well,
It actually might be easier than winning at home against Miami.
Wisconsin 38-17 against Buffalo. Texas 37-10 against Rice.
You know, that Texas game, I will say they looked bad at first, but they really did rebound in that second half.
Yeah.
They looked a lot better after.
First game.
Mm-hmm. That third quarter, they put up 21 points. That was what impressed me.
Mm-hmm. Texas A&M 52-10. Bobby Petrino, we already talked about it. Bobby Petrino's back.
Mm-hmm.
USC 66, Nevada 14.
USC played defense for once.
Against Nevada.
It's Nevada, count. But, you know, same conference as San Jose State.
Well, Nevada's at the bottom of the pack. Pinch. Oregon. How about Bo? Bo knows. And I feel pretty good right now about my college football playoff picks after week 1. 81 points against Portland State. Poor old Portland State. And you're going to hate me on this. So I had Arkansas State plus 35.5.
Yeah.
They casually only lost 73-0. So
I will tell you, funny story about this game. At the store, we had it in the TV, like
because it was on ESPN.
The register. Yeah, because it was on ESPN. So it was up there, and it's like halftime, and it's what?
It's
45-0. And I turned to AJ and I go, "A close game, huh?" And he just looks at the TV, he starts shaking his head, and I was like, "Why are you upset about that? What's going on there?"
There were just no good games this week. Michigan 30-3 at ECU. Michigan looked a little. Did you see what Michigan did? They were lining up like a tribute.
Game, yeah.
He didn't die.
Died.
He didn't die. Gosh.
Free Harbaugh shirt.
Spare me.
Like he was in prison or something, man.
Jeez, he's not dead. He's not in prison. He gave some kids some cheeseburgers and got suspended against. God forbid he's gonna miss. Let's pull up Michigan's schedule, folks, because it's a gauntlet. The first 3 games. Here we go, guys. Don't get too caught up now. When Michigan plays East Carolina week 1, they got Bowling Green and Rutgers all at home. I'm out. Okay. Get out of here.
Yeah, no, they got a joke to start the year, so, I mean, I could be the coach and we'll win those games.
Yeah. Tulane, 37-17 against South Alabama. Green Wave. I had 6.5 on that, and the Green Wave delivered. Watch out. Green Wave are at home this week against Ole Miss. Old Kiffin and the boys go down to New Orleans. Look out. All right. Those are
speaking of Ole Miss, they looked good. They looked good over the weekend too.
Yeah, they played Mercer, doesn't count.
Yeah, you put up 73 on anybody, and you're like, okay, that was pretty cool.
Jackson Dart started too.
You had the dog running plays out there too.
Juice
was taking back punts. You saw. They couldn't get him either.
I like when Lane Kiffin, he goes on his personal Twitter account and he'll post he'll take the article from ESPN or the score, the game, and he'll just tweet it and be like, check out Ole Miss's huge win this week. And he just the box score link. It's such a troll job. Oh, it's the best. He's the best on Twitter. All right. So we're going to do a little game here. We might do this each recap week, I think. It's called overreaction or no. Now I'm going to ask Dylan a couple questions.
Yep.
We're going to see what his answers are. If they're wrong and I don't agree with it, I'm going to call him out for it. Just so it's what it is.
Here we go.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Awesome. UNC Dylan with the win this weekend makes them a legit ACC title contender. Overreacting or no?
I'd say no.
So you
Not
think
an overreaction.
okay?
I do think they're an ACC title contender, simply because I think they're the second best team in the ACC right this second.
I'd agree with that. Duke looked good yesterday. Oh yeah, shout out Duke. Forgot score rundown. Pause you right there. What the hell are we doing, Clemson? 28-7, getting crushed on the road, fumbling the ball, missing field goals. Thanks, Dabo, for that one. Name, image, and likeness. NIL. Okay. Shout out. Oh, and shout out Riley Leonard. His professor did not extend that homework assignment due date. So tough luck there, kid.
Oh man, you saw that game and he was like, "You do not deserve an extension, buddy."
Somebody tweeted, and I'll pull up the tweet, or it was from College Football Daily.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I cut you off, but I don't.
No, you're good.
It's okay. It was Reddit college football. Duke up 21 points on Clemson, like they're comparing ACT results.
That's good. That's good. I got a friend who goes to Clemson. You gotta send it to me so I can send it to her.
Had quite the chuckle. I'll send it to you in a second.
She got mad when I said they're gonna lose to Florida State, and I was like, "I'm just saying a fact, man. It's gonna happen."
All right, so finish what you were saying before I interrupted you.
Oh, where was I? UNC to me looked like they have a good offense and they have a much improved defense, which is exactly what we wanted to hear.
Yeah.
If UNC, personally, I think they'll be the ACC team in the New Year's Six.
Okay.
That's not in the playoff. You know what I'm saying? If you get what I'm going at.
Yeah, that Orange Bowl.
Yep. So I think they'll be the team that loses to Florida State in the ACC championship.
I mean, if their defense can play as well as they did last against South Carolina, is it more now? Maybe if we look back on this, if UNC's defense goes back to how it was last year, it could be more of was UNC's defense really? Was it just a flash in the pan, or is it?
Or South Carolina that bad?
Was it South Carolina's O-line just that bad, or was maybe, is UNC's defense improved?
Yeah.
So, all right, I'll say no too with that. I'll agree with you there.
Cool.
All right, Ohio State. Excuse me. Ohio State's quarterback issues are a real concern and will keep them from being in the Big 12 title game, or keep them from their ultimate aspirations.
So, man, that's hard. I will say no, only because I do think the quarterback situation will keep them from their ultimate aspiration, which is national championship and beating Michigan. I don't think they'll be able to do either of those with the quarterback situation right now. I do think they go to the Big Ten championship because of the new format.
No, that's next year.
Oh, that's next year? Never mind. Yeah. Not an overreaction completely. This quarterback thing is going to ruin them this year.
I'd agree. Maybe not. I think that McCord didn't look as bad as Brown did. And McCord was just serviceable. And maybe it's just first game, but we'll see how maybe this week goes, next week. But
I think
if it improves,
I don't think serviceable is enough for a national championship contender, though.
If it improves, and then I'll be like, okay, it's fine. They're back. But, there's too many weapons on that offense to not be scoring more than 23 points against Indiana.
Yeah,
No, not
only Marvin Harrison has 2 catches. What?
Yeah, no. He's good enough to where even if he's double covered, get him the feed him. Where's Ibuka? Where's Emmanuel Ibuka and what's his Julian Fleming?
Yeah.
You have Mayan Williams and Travion Henderson in the backfield. What's holding you up?
Yeah, one of the most talented wide receiver
Offensive line didn't look.
offenses in
Offensive
general.
line didn't look as good as I want as Ohio State fans probably want it to be. I mean, Indiana
Yeah.
had some guys blowing up the line multiple times. So, all right, Dylan, the Heisman Trophy comes from a player from the Pac-12 this year. Overreacting or no?
I say overreacting.
Okay, and well, you got to defend it here.
Yeah, I will. I'll defend it because I don't think any of the Pac-12 guys are going to dominate the rest of the year because there's too much. Like we've said it a million times, the cannibalization of the conference kills dreams. It
Okay.
murders hopes.
Eater dreams. What are you freaking? No, I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna go nerd mode right there. Nope. Not gonna do it.
But I'm going to be a homer here. I do think my boy Jordan Travis is the Heisman candidate this year. I think our schedule is just
Do you
very
think?
good for him to put up good
Okay.
stats.
I'm gonna say no, and I'm gonna say this because I think Travis Hunter, if he continues what he's doing, he's gonna be in there.
Mm-hmm.
Shador Sanders, you have Bo Nix, Caleb Williams, Michael Penix. I mean, those are just some of the guys.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a quarterback-driven award. The best quarterbacks in the country are majority come from the Pac-12.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't be shocked. I'm not going to be surprised at all.
I wouldn't be absolutely shocked, but I just think those guys have to
Travis
play like
Hunter's Vegas odds that win the Heisman went from 8,000 plus 8,000 to 2,200 over one weekend.
that's pretty good. If somebody has that check, don't cash that.
Don't
Hold
on to that ticket.
Yeah. But I do think personally Jordan Travis has a great chance because the next best defense he'll play this year is Duke.
Yeah.
So
Speaking of Jordan Travis, FSU, Dylan, has the best offense in the country.
overreaction.
Okay.
It's an overreaction. I do think it's one of the best.
Yeah.
The only problem I see is that the running game just isn't there yet completely.
Mm-hmm.
We can run the ball, but not as some teams can.
No. I think, what was it? Trey Benson only had 12 carries, 47 yards, and Rodney Hill had 5 carries, 29 yards.
Yeah. I think the best offenses in the country, I think they're up there. Mm-hmm. I think they're one of the best offenses, without a doubt, in my mind. But they're not there yet. They're not number one.
I'm going to say overreaction too. I think, you still have overall, you still have got teams. Georgia's up there.
Yeah.
All your Pac-12 guys.
Yep.
I still think Bama's going to be a serviceable offense.
Mm-hmm.
Not one of the best, but they're going to be up there.
Yeah.
So I think you still have Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State. I think a mix, but we'll see. I wouldn't be surprised by the end of the year for not seeing they're one of the top because
neither would I. Yeah.
That receiving core is so good, and we saw this
Mm-hmm.
The 2019 in that. I mean, I'm not going to compare them to LSU in 2019, but that group of receivers, how good that made with a veteran quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was separated them. That was one of the big. I mean, obviously one of the. Granted, they also had 12 guys drafted in that year from that team.
But I do think Florida State's going to have a lot of first round picks this year too, though.
Yeah,
because I think there's those two wide receivers.
And you have Jared Verse.
Jared Verse, I think he's slated at number 6 right now in the draft.
I haven't looked, so I don't know.
But I think he's mocked at 6 or 7.
Mm-hmm. I don't pay too much attention to mock drafts during in season, but
no, that's fair. I remember seeing that on the during the game they put that graphic up that he was by I think Kuiper or somebody was ranked.
No, Mel Kiper's not there. Oh no, Kiper is there. Todd McShay's not. He got fired.
Yeah, McShay's got. Who cares about Todd McShay?
Oh, whoa. Don't disrespect McShay like that.
Okay, sorry.
Come on, don't do that. All right, final one for you.
Mm-hmm.
Clemson's era of reign in the ACC and in college football is slowly but surely coming to an end. or is over?
I don't think that's an overreaction. I would emphatically say it's over.
Okay.
For the last, since what, 2021, Clemson has been just there in the ACC.
Yeah.
They won the conference in 2022, but for most of the year, I don't think anybody was screaming, that's a championship contender team.
No.
They're not what they used to be. The rest of the ACC is already catching up. They didn't even go to the conference championship in 2021. 2022, they got in because they beat Florida State. But I think this year, I don't even think they're going to go to the game this year anymore. And I don't think Dabo Swinney is going to have the hold on the conference anymore. I don't think they're going to be yearly a top 10 team. And, thank God for everybody in America, because you no longer have to hear Dabo Swinney be so annoying all the time.
It's Sweeney's refusal to go through the portal is really going to bite him right back in the butt.
He won't do NIL or the portal. That's what's killing him.
Nope.
How are you going to get top recruits if you're saying no? We don't want your stuff here.
I mean, I get it. It's just the days of just strictly developmental are slowly but surely, they're still there, but you got to be able to work the portal as well.
Well, it's just one of those things that ever since he lost having a first-round pick quarterback, it's just been,
Yeah.
They're just floating around.
Right? All right. So I was overreacting or no? We'll keep that rolling throughout the year. So each week we'll have a new section, slate of stuff. So we're going to add quickly. We'll run right through this because we're getting a little closer on time. But so last couple of weeks we've been doing the biggest games, upsets, most exciting. It was supposed to be done by last week, but we had some technical issues. So we're going to finish it up now.
For us, it was bad.
Nah, it wasn't that bad. Didn't you
guys?
I
lost power.
You guys went back to work that day. You guys were fine.
No, I did not. I actually got the next day off.
Nice. Anyway, so we're about done. So we were doing weeks 10 through 13, and since we're not there yet, obviously we'll finish it up. So I think we'll just skim through it real quick. Biggest game for me, week 10. Do you have yours pulled up?
Yep, I got mine pulled up.
So biggest game week 10, I have LSU at Bama.
That's really fair.
Yeah. That was mine. Upset, I had FSU at Pitt. Something about Pitt likes to play at home, out. I mean, you had that Steeler spirit of the Steelers comes in.
Oh, man, that would not sound confident there.
No, it did. Now, listen, I have FSU over regular season win total, so I better not lose. Most exciting, Washington, USC. I mean, Michael Penix versus Caleb Williams. I mean, come on.
That's fair. So, a little bit different for me. I had my biggest game as Washington versus USC. I do think there's a chance this is the highest ranked matchup that week.
Okay.
Looking at both teams, they're both ranked in the top 10 right now. If they stay the course, I think they could both be in the same area. Upset, I had Oklahoma State over Oklahoma. This will be the last year these two teams play for who knows how long. And
it's going to be a while.
Oklahoma State is going to want to rub it in because they do not like Oklahoma, and Oklahoma sometimes just does not seem to care at all.
Yeah.
So I think Oklahoma State beats Oklahoma as a final goodbye to the Big 12. And then most exciting, I had Oregon State versus Colorado.
Okay. Oregon State, Colorado. Shout out DJ Uyunglele. Just
He
watching
good.
Clemson burn.
He looked good.
He's playing good against San Jose State. Shout out to San Jose State. They decided to have their gold rush jerseys day when they knew they were about to get their cheeks.
Shout out to them doing back-to-back weeks against teams ranked. How many non-Power 5 teams do that every week?
Shout out to Fresno State, who beat Purdue and got paid $1.8 million to go to Indiana and play.
You love to see it.
You love to see it. I have a buddy that's a Purdue fan.
Oh, brutal.
We let him know about it. We told him. I said, imagine
Brutal.
losing and losing. You lost and got robbed at the same time.
Man, that's brutal.
All right, week 11. I have biggest game, USC, Oregon, or Penn State, Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
And then upset team, Tennessee at Missouri.
Okay.
It's just the classic Missouri trap game.
Yep.
Something about it. And then most exciting, Ole Miss, Georgia. Probably going to be Georgia's biggest home game this year.
Mm-hmm.
And see what old Kiffin and the Dogs will be ready for that.
Yeah.
Dogs will be ready.
So I put biggest game, same Michigan versus Penn State. I think it's going to be a good game. Not much to say about it, but I put my upset as Georgia Tech versus Clemson.
Okay.
They should have won that game against Louisville.
That was a tough if you're a gambling guy there too, that game.
Yeah.
Done that.
I think Clemson just looks weak. So I'm going to go Georgia Tech over Clemson. And then my most exciting was UNC versus Duke.
That's going to be a good one now.
Yeah. I didn't think about that one before, but when I was rewriting these for today, I was like, you know what? That game actually, hold on, that game's going to be great.
That's going to be in Carolina too, I think.
Oh, yeah. Let's say we'll both always be in Carolina.
Carolina won it last year.
Yep.
At Duke, but Duke covered, I think. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so week 12.
Yep.
Biggest game, Georgia at Tennessee.
Yep.
It's going to be the game that probably decides the East.
Mm-hmm.
Although I wouldn't be surprised if Tennessee loses before that. So, I'm just saying. It's the day that Georgia gets to go in and just completely annihilate those scums up there. God, I hate Tennessee fans. I hate them more than I can't stay. I would respect a Florida fan more than I would a Tennessee fan.
Okay.
Florida fans are just delusional, but they suck, so they kind of accept it.
I think my other problem with Florida fans is jorts.
Well, you have to put up with that. Tennessee fans, you get a little taste of being good now, and good is only 10 wins. Granted,
ranked in the top 10 is not that bad. They were almost ranked number 1.
They think they're the top of the world, cream of the corn. They were number 1 in the country for 4 days and got their ass kicked.
Yep.
So, and they're about to see it again. Kirby Smart. I'm going to look up last couple times Georgia's played at Tennessee.
I'm ready. I'm excited to hear this.
You ready for this one?
Yep.
All right, let's see. This is Georgia's website. 27. So Georgia's on a 6-game winning streak. Shocker. Last 10 matchups, 8-2.
Yeah.
So, all right, you ready for this one?
Yep.
So, last 3 times. So, since Kirby Smart took over in 2016, it was in Georgia. That was I think that was the Hail Mary game. Anyway, yeah. At 2017 at Knoxville, that was a pinstripe game, 141-0. 2019, 43-14. This is all at Knoxville. And then 2021, 41-17.
Have they lost to? Has he lost to Tennessee yet as a head coach?
He lost. So 2016, that was the at-home game when the Josh Dobbs Hail Mary.
Okay, but that was his first year there too. So
yeah. So count, but other than that, no, they haven't lost. Their average margin of win. Let's do this. Pull up some quick math real quick right here. I'm gonna do this real quick. Sorry, I'm just typing in so many big numbers because it's how big of a lopsided upset it's been.
Oh my gosh. Wrote it in for them.
What do you divide this up? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I guess they have 6 games. Their average 39 points they're averaging in the last 6 games. And they haven't given up more than 21 points. 21 points is the most they scored, and that was in 2020. That was COVID year, and that was at Georgia. Georgia's going to kill them.
Yeah.
And I love it. Michigan, Maryland's my upset game. Most exciting, Washington, Oregon State. This Pac-12 is just going to be great all year long.
So We picked two of the same. I also picked Georgia versus Tennessee and Washington versus Oregon State as biggest game, most exciting. But my upset was FAU over Tulane.
Ooh.
Tom Herman's at FAU now. They're in the American Conference with Tulane, so this is an in-conference matchup.
Yeah.
And I do have a little bias. My sister does go to FAU.
We
Go Owls.
shout out Rock Bellantoni, coach,
Mm-hmm.
one of the coaches on FAU.
Yep. But
Go Owls.
Go Owls. I think they could do it. I don't think it's that crazy.
No. All right. Shout out Pac-12. 13-0 this weekend.
Impressive.
Very impressive.
Yeah.
All right. And so about week 13. Biggest game, Ohio State, Michigan.
Yep.
Upset FSU at UF or Bama at Auburn. Saban is just, it's like egg. I don't know what it is about going when he goes to Jordan Hare, but Bama just doesn't play as well. There's something about it. They just come extra amped no matter what the record is. Auburn is. They always give them fits at home. So either one of those guys, like I said earlier in the podcast, as long as FSU is not looking ahead, I think they should be fine going into the swamp. Yeah. But you just don't want to be one of those like caught looking ahead moments where it's like sandwiched in between.
Yeah, caught with your pants down.
Yeah, most exciting, Ole Miss, Mississippi State. I love the Egg Bowl. Thanksgiving night, it's the best. You're full on turkey and mashed potatoes and mac and cheese. You've already had your nap, and you wake up and you got the Egg Bowl on. I don't really ever watch NFL football on Thanksgiving. I mean, I check that.
I always watch the Lions game.
I don't watch the night game usually because I like to watch the Ole Miss Mississippi State game because they're always close. They're fun to bet on, and it's just a great game.
That's why.
Because neither team's like greatly ahead of each other. They're always like the same.
They're always at 7 wins.
7 or 8 wins. It's like 8 or 9 wins to like 7 or 8, and they're just. It's never like dramatically different.
Yeah.
And even if it is, they're still. It's always down to the wire. It's always like a low scoring 2. It's like an ugly like 20-7, 20 to like 14 game.
Yeah.
All right.
That's why I watch the Lions on Thanksgiving. They never play at night.
No.
They are the middle of the day game.
No.
If you're ready to watch a game at noon, get ready to watch some Lions football.
Oh, yeah. What is your week 13?
So I had my biggest game also as Ohio State versus Michigan. The game, it's going to be a big one. Upset, I had Colorado over Utah.
Okay.
And then my most exciting was Auburn versus Alabama. As the same reasons you said, is that Nick Saban just struggles at Jordan Hare.
Yeah.
It's the weirdest thing.
It's like a house of nightmares or whatever you want to call it. But
House of Horrors.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know what it is. I get scared. I'm scared to death when we got to go there.
I've never been. Trying to keep it that way.
All right. Anyway. All right. So we'll move on to our final subject for tonight, and that's going to be winners and losers of the week. Gosh, you're a pain in the ass. This is what happens, folks. It's 1:30 in the morning. Checking it out. Yeah.
I can't wait for work tomorrow morning.
What time do you have to go in?
9.
Oh, dude, you're fine.
Yeah.
I got a 9:30 class, so we're fine.
Yeah, no, we're fine. I just like complaining.
Fine. Come on, guys, we're fine.
I just like complaining about
this
stuff.
This is how loyal.
Often can't even speak right now, man. The audio just disappeared on you.
Are we back?
Yes.
Right at the end, too. Oh, jeez. Sorry, guys.
No, you're good.
You hear me?
No, we're disappointed. Yeah. No, we're good. I can hear you.
1 second. Hello.
Hello?
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 Dylan, you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You do hear me?
Yes.
Okay. My winners and losers of the week. You know what? Do yours first.
Okay. So my two winners of the week, I had USC and North, both for playing defense. They've both showed much improvement on defense, which is what both me and you both criticized about both of these teams coming into the season, and what USC struggled to show us in their Week 0 game against San Jose State. Both teams much improved on defense. It looked, at least for one game.
Mm-hmm. All right,
Who are
final
your
mic
winners
check.
of the week? I can hear you. Yes.
Okay, awesome. So we're back. Okay, sweet. I
Yep.
messed with this mic and try to get ahead of myself. My winners. So my winner is, gosh, man, I don't even know. My winner, Keon Coleman
Mm-hmm.
and Travis Hunter, both my winners of the week.
Yep.
And just outstanding performances by both the guys. I mean, Travis Hunter playing both sides of the ball, had a pick, had over 100 yards receiving,
Mm-hmm.
and played over 120 snaps. Keon Coleman, debut, not too shabby, 3 touchdowns. Honorable mentions. I mean, just because I'm a homer, Brock Bowers, 5 receptions,
Yeah.
77 yards, and a
He
nice
had a good
touchdown.
Just a kind of
It's
a
just
good performance.
Dump it off
Mm-hmm.
and literally just watch him do whatever he wants to do.
Yeah.
Did you do losers?
I did do losers, yes. My losers of the week were Ohio State, offense just not living up to the standard set by them.
Yeah.
Very scary. And my second loser was TCU, and my point was doubt is casted on last year.
Mm-hmm.
Are they real? Doesn't think so.
My losers of the week are the University of Florida.
Yep.
Just got to clean it up.
Yeah.
You can't be the standalone game and have a poopy performance like that. So, and then my second loser of the week is the, what did I say? The South Carolina offensive line.
Yeah.
Gotta
those are good picks. Those are good picks for loser of the week.
Gotta figure it out.
Yeah.
Got to figure it out. I could have seen, my winner, other honorable mention of the winners of the week, the entire conference, Pac-12, like I said, 13-0 this week. Huge. So, but winners of the week, Travis Hunter.
Other losers of the week, you could have said the Big 12.
Yeah. West Virginia lost. TCU. Texas Tech lost.
Baylor.
Tried to sneak into Laramie. And Cowboys said no.
Baylor Bears.
Yeah, you can't lose to Texas State. Never always remember TJ Finley. Always remember TJ Finley. Can't lose. And now they got Utah heading in. But that's a perfect spot for Baylor to win by a touchdown, like a field goal, by like 10 or so.
Win by 10 points.
Yeah.
Lead the whole game.
Perfect spot. All right. So we got through it all.
Yep.
Don't know how, but we did.
Because we're champs.
We're champs.
We're absolute champs.
I'm gonna work on getting this out real quick before I get ready for next episode.
Yeah.
Next episode we'll record it Thursday. It'll be out Thursday evening.
Thursday evening, Friday morning-ish.
Yes. Friday at the place, but make sure you guys are watching. If you guys want to see our week 2 preview, I'll have some best bets in there.
Yep.
Stuff I'm not going to play, but if you were smart, you would. I promise I'm not doing those ones, but yeah, I know. But I got some good picks. If you guys take my advice, I'm pretty good betting against. I love betting with college kids. It's just the best. So don't take that as.
Don't take that weird. Don't take that personal or to heart, please.
Yeah. Make sure you guys are watching the videos, subscribing. Viewership's been a little down lately, guys. Come on, we got to pick it up.
We got to pick it up. The season's just started, guys. What's going on?
We got to pick it up, guys. Come on. We only had, I think, 13 views last episode. Come on.
Oh, that's not good.
Not good enough. Not good enough. We got to get subscriptions up, guys. Come on. We are at 56 right now.
Halfway.
Less than halfway. Got to get to 100
Yeah.
guys by the end of the year. Come on, we can do this.
That's the goal. Going to 2024 with 100 subscribers. Woo!
56 subs right now, guys. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
Got to get it up to 100. 100 subscribers by the end of the year.
Yeah.
If we can do that, I'll give away this Joe Burrow card that I got. Unless Dylan wants it.
I kind of want it. But you know what? It will go to that lucky 100 subscriber.
Well, now we can talk after this episode now. If you want it, I'll give it to you. Well, at the right price, but I'll give it to you. But yeah, I'll give away a freaking football card. So
yeah, we'll give away something, something fun.
Or you know what, I'll just give you a shout out to the 100th subscriber.
I'll give you my passport. You never know.
Well, I wouldn't be showing that on YouTube right now, Dylan. Come on. I know you judgment's a little cloudy, but
it's just the cover. It's just the cover. No inside.
Well, you never know. Never know. All right. Make sure you guys are watching the videos. If you guys aren't watching us on YouTube, liking it, listening to us on Spotify, if you're in the car, the road,
if
you're working out and you want to listen to college football talk, we're probably not your first choice, but make us.
You should be.
We're not going to be your first choice, but we'll be your best choice.
Look, all I'm saying is we're better than some of the people on Unnecessary Roughness, right?
Probably not, but
okay. I just think our opinions are probably more realistic than Jack's.
Jack Mack? Don't disrespect Jack Mack like that.
He picked Clemson to win the national championship.
All right, well, that was his one bet. But listen, you guys, continue what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be back Thursday.
Yep.
For week 2 preview. Be ready. And hook 'em horns. Peace out, guys. Peace out, guys.
Let's go.
Peace out.
See you guys.